we don't necessarily know ourselves that well.
Or you have unrealistic.
Yeah. So using Kate as the example, there she is trying to do this thing, no, she's trying to do this thing over here. Actually, it's unrealistic to perform to 110% because you've got all the other things going on at the same time. So using that as an example, it's unrealistic. So you can beat yourself up or go, this is what I can do right now. What I prefer to do is not do this, I'll come back to you tomorrow. Then I will be able to give you my 110% or 100% or whatever it is. Okay. The next one is, and most of you will be familiar with this, but it's an interesting thing to define, and that is going the extra mile. Which is almost contradictory to this, but going the extra mile.
Sorry, these are your theories on conscientiousness, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
What does that mean, going the extra mile?
Doing something that's uncomfortable to get, because to achieve something better, sometimes you've got to come out of your comfort zone. So going that extra mile, would it be?
Not necessarily. It could be going the extra mile.
Doing that little bit extra, just doing that little bit.
Means doing your best.
It does mean doing your best, but that's what we're doing up here.
Oh,
That's what I did.
Delving a bit deeper.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
You go
Push yourself. Yeah,
It's
push
beating your
yourself.
expectation of what was reasonable.
Sorry,
Beating your expectation of what was reasonable.
beating your expectation of what was reasonable? Anybody else? In the work situation, how does it apply? Let's just do that for a second.
Going that little, well, to me, going that extra mile is just putting yourself up, maybe not necessarily even just for you, but for somebody else. That's how I would interpret it.
Okay?
If I came home and said to somebody, that person went the extra mile for me, they'd know. To me, they'd know exactly what I meant. That they just did that little bit extra something to make either me feel special or make the situation better.
It wasn't asked for.
No, they are.
That's the
more than
criteria.
yes, right. More than doing something that's expected or asked.
So there's expectation,
Yeah.
and then there is that little bit more. And when we do that little bit more than is expected of us, two things happen. They expect it again and again and again and again. Or they actually appreciate it. And it's being clear what it is you're doing. You're not being pushed around or pushed over, but you're doing more than is expected of you. The person that does more than is expected of them puts more into their lives than they're expecting back, if you like, will always do okay. The person that does more than is expected, goes the extra mile, will always do okay. They will always get more, almost, than they expect. Because what, in essence, they're doing is they're putting more into their universe than the universe is expecting. And then suddenly the universe, whatever that happens to be, is building up almost a reserve of all this extra energy you're putting in. Has to give it back somehow. Because we like to balance things out. So, I'll give you an example of this. And I've got some clients in the audience as well. I think most of my clients recognize that it's heart and soul stuff. We work hard, even on the courses and stuff. We work hard, we're in there, we're passionate, we're doing more, and we don't go, oh look, it's 3 minutes to 10, we've got 2 minutes left. We don't do that. We kind of, if it's another 20 minutes, we keep going, because we need to kind of work something out. That's kind of what I would call going the extra mile. Because I can. That's the one side. The other side is, some time back, my wife wasn't well, and it was almost like the energy came straight back at me. Because what can we do? How can we handle it? How can we help you? Can we cook you a meal? Can we? It was just amazing that all that good stuff I had been putting out there came straight back. Because going the extra mile doesn't mean to go and do something extra, something nice for someone, and then expect it back. That's not going the extra mile. That's actually keeping a tally. Going, oh well, I gave them an extra 10 minutes, so they should, and that's not going to do it. You're doing it because you want to give more. There's a generosity of spirit, if you like. We're actually wanting to, put more into our life, our world, or whatever. Obviously, in Natalie's case, it's almost impossible. But the point about it is that when you do and you need, it comes straight back at you. And often it comes back, in dribs and drabs here and there, and unexpected things happen, and you go, well, how did that? What? That's a really nice thing that's just happened. And I have a saying, the universe works. And I say it just about every day. Oh, the universe really worked there, didn't it? And it absolutely does. If you could take nothing from tonight, just this, as a principle, you will always be successful. Your life will always work. It's quite profound. I was really fortunate I came across this principle when I was quite young. And I went, I think I could do that. Not because I wanted to get the extra stuff, it's just because it's quite a nice thing to do. And then I discovered, to my wonderment even, that all these wonderful things were coming back. And it's powerful. And often we go, no, I want to extra because I'm sure they'll take advantage, or they'll... You do extra, you let it go. You give extra, you let it go. You just have that generosity of spirit, and it's amazing what happens. You don't try and do a balance and exchange, or no. And it doesn't have to be huge, and it doesn't have to be known. One of the wonderful things that I do with some clients is I get them to go, if they haven't actually got an abundance in their life, and I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about just a general kind of good feeling. I'll get them to go and do something nice for someone, and they must do a couple of things. That is, not let them know, not let them find out, and not go around telling other people. They must just go and do it. They're allowed to come and tell me, but they're not allowed to tell anybody else. They're just going to go and do it, and sometimes they can go and do it so that they observe how the other person reacts, but the other person mustn't know. Or they just do it and they might be able to hear about it at some point. Or they do it and no one knows. And it's quite amazing, almost the rush you can get from that. It's a real high, because what you're doing is you're applying basically this principle. I had one really wealthy person who was particularly miserable. I said, go into a coffee shop, sit down, and pay for 5 coffees. Just pay for 5, and the next 5 people, they make sure that the guy who, the person there, I know they think you're a bit weird, but just make sure that they give the next 5 people free coffees. And just watch, and make sure that he doesn't point to you, it was him. And he said it was just an amazing thing to do. Because there were these people going, because something nice had happened to them that they weren't expecting. And in that instance, he got pleasure from seeing other people getting pleasure. Which started a whole chain of events for him to kind of go and do more for other people, particularly without them finding out. Because it's easy to do things for other people and then expect them to be happy and thrilled, and it's not so easy to do things for other people and not have them find out. It's quite amazing.